Hi everyone, hope you are all well and staying safe. If this is your first time watching my channel, my name is Ellie and my channel content will be about making basic jewellery that you can make for yourself. If you wanted to, you could make as gifts or maybe sell at craft fairs or markets. So I will be showing you the tools and the materials that you can use or that I use to make these basic jewellery, and also show you some of the things that I've made. First, I wanted to show you my bead delivery that I received a few days ago. Firstly, I wanted to show you the crystal glaze glass bead. It is 10mm, so it's very, very pretty. You can see the glaze on it, the shine. Then there is the 4mm opaline bead, which I will probably use for one of my cluster bracelets. It's quite nice. And then also these, they are 6x10mm, and they are it's dyed jade cuboid beads. So they're very pretty. I love the colour. So I'm not sure what they're going to be used for yet. These are calipers, or a caliper. It is used for putting beads into to measure millimeters of them. So basically you put your bead here and then you close it onto the bead, and then you can read here what the size is. So they're quite handy. They do go up to 106mm, which is huge. Okay, and then you have your closed jump ring, which I use for my cluster bracelets. I attach the another smaller jump ring to an open jump ring to the chain, and then add this one. Then it will then connect to the clasp. Then we have a 12mm silver plated clasp, again used for necklaces, bracelets, and sometimes my cluster bracelets. This one is again a jump ring. You can see the that you can see it just, there's a slight gap in the jump ring. That says open jump ring, so again used for bracelets, necklaces. I don't use these if I'm using wire, as in for bracelets, because the wire slips through that gap. So I use a closed jump ring for those ones. Right, these ones are a 12mm stainless steel clasp, used for my cluster bracelets, because I use a stainless steel chain for those, which I will show you in a minute. So yeah, they are actually quite nice, and they're very strong. These ones again stainless steel. These are a 9mm, not used for my cluster bracelets, but they can be used for sort of very, very dainty, you know, one strand bracelets, or necklaces. They're very, very small, sometimes difficult to do up, but you can still use those. So also I received these ones. They are a blue purple shimmer crystal glass bead. You know, you could use them in one necklace, or you could take them off individually and, you know, do individual necklaces with those, whatever you like with them really. Then also there's the clear crystal ones, but they also sort of shine sort of oranges and pinks and yellows, which I think is nice. It's very pretty. Then we move along to my rondelles. You can get these in all different sizes and colours. These are a 6mm, used for my cluster bracelets, and these are, I think they're 6x5mm. So 6mm being sort of one way and 5mm sort of going downwards, so they're not completely round. They sparkle, very, very, very pretty. when made with a cluster bracelet, you can add different colours. So you could add a grey and then maybe a pink on the same cluster. That would be quite nice. You could add any colour you like, really. So the next thing I wanted to show you was tools. The tools are basically these. So we have, I'll show you first, the side cutters. These are used for cutting all sorts of wire. You can cut some chain with this, but not stainless steel, because it's too, too thick, too strong. These are from Bead. Very, very good tools. Also, you can cut all sorts, as I said, you can cut all sorts of wire with these. So when I make bracelets and necklaces, I use these to cut the wire that I use to put the beads on. There's a bit of grease coming off there. So yes, and then this one here is these are chain nose pliers, also from Bead, and they are very good for sort of if you're making something with chain, they are good for gripping the chain. They are also good for opening jump rings. A good all-rounder really on those ones. This one I use for my cluster bracelets, which is a round nose plier. Basically, when I attach the bead to the chain, when I'm using a head pin or eye pin, I then have to basically loop that head pin. So I use these, which I will show you in a later video how to do that. So yeah, they're very good. These ones are crimps and crimpers. I will show you the crimps in a minute. When you actually add a crimp to wire, when you're doing your necklaces and bracelets, you have two holes there. What I do normally is I use the second hole down to crimp the wire, or the crimp, which normally I use a 2mm, and then I use the second hole, or the first hole, to then make sure that crimp is secure and tight. These ones I actually use for when I make my necklaces here, these ones and these ones. When I'm actually crimping the ends, that is the tool that I use to do those necklaces, and also for bracelets. But rather these bracelets, as I'll show you in a minute, is they are crimped slightly different to these ones. Right, also this one, again covered in oil, keep them so they don't seize up. These ones are used for cutting stainless steel chain. Very, very good. But I have noticed with these that you have to put the chain sort of further down the blades to cut it, not the end. The end doesn't seem to cut, so I push the chain further down, and then it cuts okay. So they're very good. Chain wise, this one is a 2.5mm loops. As you can see, they are tiny. The head pins do go into these loops, but if I make a cluster bracelet with these, I'd probably only have to do one this side and one that side on the other loop, because they're so small. The loops are so small on this one. I'd normally use a 3mm, which is slightly bigger, or maybe a 4mm. 4mm loops on the chain, I can make a full cluster bracelet, because I can put 2 head pins with beads on per loop, so it becomes fuller. This one here is a 2mm, but this is more sort of oval, flat oval. I'm getting to focus, flat oval, so you can see that they are narrower than the other one, and yeah, a lot flatter. Again, probably only get one every, maybe two on that one, because they're longer loops. So yeah, maybe. Okay, when we were talking about crimping, these are the crimps. They are very, very small. Sometimes hard to sort of pick up and put the wire through and hold, because sometimes they escape. It can be difficult. They are 2mm. These are silver plated, these ones, but they are tiny. So those are your crimps, which, as I said, these ones are the crimpers. Or you can use a flat nose plier to just flatten them for the bracelets and wire. So yes, the head pins are like these. They haven't got these eye bits, but these are eye pins used for earrings. You could add to cluster bracelets, but I normally use just head pins. These I did show in my first video. If you put a bead on, then you can sort of connect these all up together, and then make long earrings, or long. Actually, I've got an example of an earring. Actually, hold on a second. Here, you see, you have the head pin at the top. Sorry, this is an eye pin. You have the loop at the top as normal. Then you have the loop at the bottom. Then you have a head pin on the bottom, so which you do a loop at the top, which attaches to the other loop. So on these pair of earrings, you have an eye pin and a head pin, which you can do. So there's all different ways of making jewellery. The other thing is of these, they are the ear wires. They are silver plated, and basically you can add anything to these loops on the bottom. So your head pin, your eye pin, they're pretty simple really to explain. So those are your ear wires. And I was talking about wire. This is the wire. Very, very strong stuff. This is a 0.46 millimeter. This is the 30 foot on this reel. It is very, very good stuff. This I use for when I make these necklaces. You can buy thicker of this, but I prefer to use this size. It's still strong enough, and then with 2 or 3 crimps at the top to hold it all together is perfectly fine. So yes, that's a beading string. Bead along. So yes, back to the necklaces. I was going to show you the crimping. You can make all sorts of necklaces. On this one I've added glass pearls, an acrylic large bead, which is turquoise, which is, I find, really, really nice. And I've added some gem chips, which, yeah, you would think would be unusual to add with sort of like a plastic, but I think it actually works quite well. Again, use the crimping technique here to hold it all together. So I've used a 6 and a 5 millimeter just to sort of make it look nice at the top. Again, with this one, I've used 6 millimeter, 3 crimps on that one, white frosted seed beads, and also I've used a 6 millimeter yellow crackle bead, which are actually quite nice. They're heated to a certain temperature, the glass cracks inside, and then they're cooled down very, very quickly to make that cracking look in the middle. This is really, really nice. And then these ones are also crackle beads, so you can get all different colours of crackle beads, and some of them are two-tone. So this one's green and pink, which you would think wouldn't go together, but I think it looks amazing. Lovely and lovely colour. In my first video, this was the one I showed you, my cluster bracelets, and I've made a couple more. With the clusters you can also make pendants. This one I made a few years ago. It's literally seagrass bead, sea glass, get that right, clusters and sort of frost. I think these are 8mm and these are frosted. Not sure what colour these are, what they came out as, but I mean you can see that the colours are amazing on that one. You can add chain to that, you can add anything to that to wear it. And then this one are pearls with 2 closed jump rings at the top to put your chain through, and these are potato pearls. Very nice. Again, earrings, you know, using your ear wires, your head pins and eye pins. So yeah, very pretty. And then obviously I showed this one in my first video, bracelet, cluster bracelet. And then I went to another level with cluster making. I went to then make a necklace, which has, I can't remember how many head pins with gem chips on, with 3mm smaller beads on. It took me 12 hours to make this one, a long time. Obviously not in one sitting, but I did make it over 4 sittings, I think, 4 sessions of sitting there with beads. Yeah, and then I added a glass bead on the bottom, you see the back, which is quite nice. And then literally went mad with the cluster part. It took a long time, but it's paid off. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm very pleased with it. My next one, though, if I do like this, will be, I think, a little bit, I think I make it a little bit longer. This one is probably only a 16-inch length. But I was thinking, you know, I have loads of ideas. I could make loads more, but this one was my first cluster necklace and I'm very happy with it. Also with the cluster bracelets, I will be hopefully changing the design slightly, but we'll see how that goes. Right, I think that's it. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to see more, then like and subscribe to my channel, as there is more to come. Eventually I will be showing people how to do these basic loops for, you know, on the head pins and eye pins, how to crimp a piece of wire, and a few other things. So yeah, if you want to see more, subscribe please, and hopefully see you soon. Thank you, bye.